Harry Dresden has faced some pretty terrifying foes during his career. Giant scorpions, oversexed vampires, psychotic werewolves. It comes with the territory when you're the only professional wizard in the Chicago area phone book. But in all Harry's years of supernatural sleuthing, he's never faced anything like this. The spirit world has gone postal. All over Chicago, ghosts are causing trouble, and not just the door-slamming, boo-shouting variety. These ghosts are tormented, violent, and deadly. Someone or something is purposely stirring them up to wreak unearthly havoc. But why? And why do so many of the victims have ties to Harry? If Harry doesn't figure it out soon, he could wind up a ghost himself. What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today's book chat is going to be about Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. So Grave Peril is book 3 in the Dresden Files. This is a reread for me, and this time around I'm actually listening to the audiobooks by James Marsters. The audiobook version of this series has totally enriched my enjoyment. Marsters, he is just top tier when it comes to narrating audiobooks. If you choose to read it, it's about 436 pages long. It was published by Rock, which is an imprint of the Penguin Random House group. Grave Peril, we have the introduction of Harry's godmother, Leah, who is a she. She's a fae of the Winter Court, and she seems a little bit insane. Harry did not fare well like Cinderella in the fairy godmother department. So let's recap. In Stormfront, we met the Red Court vampires. In Full Moon, we met about 4 different types of werewolves. So in Grave Peril, we meet some of the fae, but then Jim Butcher starts tying his story back into his previous books. So now we're not just getting new supernatural beings, we see that some of the other ones we've met previously are being incorporated into the story, and basically this book starts tying back into the other 2. So we start to see that Jim Butcher is starting to sew together a bigger picture for the world of Harry Dresden. Stormfront, we just met the Red Court of Vampires. In Grave Peril, we also learned that there's a Black Court and a White Court, and the difference between the 3 courts. So Dresden File fans are aware that there is a future book going to be written called Mirror Mirror. It's a reflection where things are very different, and it hinged on a decision that was made by Harry in Grave Peril. So of course, as I was going through this book again, I was constantly questioning everything, thinking to myself, is this the decision he made that changed everything for Mirror Mirror? Or is it this one? Or is it this one? And I'm going to tell you the truth. I have no idea. I have a lesser idea of what it could be than when I started it. So Grave Peril is actually the first book in the Dresden Files that starts tying back into the first 2. And also it's the first book that really elicited an emotional attachment for me to the characters. And the fact that, yeah, Harry's a wizard, but he's a guy with feelings. In this one, we meet Michael, who is one of my absolute most favorite Dresden characters ever. I love Michael so much. Michael is a Knight of the Cross. He and Harry are working together trying to figure out why all of a sudden there's so much activity involving ghosts in Chicago. And I mean, it's bad juju. It's not they're just jumping out scaring people. Like, they are harming people. They are trying to kill. Harry is really running against the clock, trying to figure out who is targeting all of those around him in the waking world and in the dream world. Just the way that Jim Butcher is able to blend modern fantasy with just that classic noir detective theme is just amazing. It's so enjoyable. This one is fast-paced. To me, it's way better than the first 2 books. It just really had a whole different level of intensity about it. Even though it's a reread, I was still very much engaged. I was constantly waiting to see what was going to happen next. Even though I knew what was going to happen next, I liked watching it unfold yet again. This is where the Dresden Files really starts getting good. This is the one, if you made it through the first two, this is the one that hooks you into the series. So if you have read Grave Peril and you're familiar with the Mirror Mirror conspiracy theories, go down to the comments below and tell me what decision you think Harry made that is going to be the cause of Mirror Mirror later down the road. I would love to hear what you think. So I'm going to say it's when Harry didn't take the call from Susan, when he and Michael were at his apartment and Susan called and Harry said, "This is important, Michael. Tell her I'll call her back later." That's what I'm thinking it is. I think in Mirror Mirror, he's going to take that phone call and that's going to be what changes. Let's talk about it in the comments. So, would I recommend Grave Peril? Absolutely. If you love urban fantasy, you will love the Dresden Files. Thank you so much for joining me today to chat about Grave Peril by Jim Butcher. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you give this series a chance. If you haven't, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.